So Kevin, what did we watch today?
We watched.
You have to speak up, Kevin. By the way.
Oh, okay. We
Kevin,
watched,
you're always so quiet.
I am. We watched the latest Neil Breen masterpiece today, Twisted Pear.
Surprisingly, not a movie about pears.
No. There's some apples, I think, in one shot.
That's true. There were some apples. No pears.
So today we went to the Frida Cinema.
You want to do that one again?
Today we went to the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California, because it was the closest theater playing.
Got some nice Santa Ana winds. Saw some leaves on the floor.
It was comical. Anyone that is unfamiliar with the Orange County region, we get these very powerful winds that just blow in. I have no idea why we call them the Santa Ana winds.
It's more windy there.
Sure.
Did you see how many leaves were on the ground?
That could
leaves
be
than ever existed.
As someone that just doesn't know anything about weather, it was comical because I also rarely go to Santa Ana, so it's like where we live, we drive there and we get there and it's just windy.
Well,
and
there's more butterflies in Santa Ana, which is what causes
wind. Yeah.
I told you he was gonna laugh, dude. Kevin, please describe the plot of Twisted Pear. This is your first Neil Breen movie.
This is my first time watching a Neil Breen film. I don't know if I can call it a movie. It was a series of scenes with things happening.
My name is Cade. I have an identical twin brother, Cale. Then one day it all changed. There was a bright light in the sky and time stood still. We were both selected.
Did Neil Breen shoot all the shots that were in the movie?
No, he hired a cinematographer.
No, but was he on set shooting all the shots that were in the movie?
Yes.
No. The answer is stock footage.
The pure majesty of nature.
Oh.
It was like, again, 50% stock footage again. He's always
that is a classic Neil Breen movie. I mean, really, going through Neil Breen's catalog of work, this is a really interesting piece because it fits in with the current canon of Neil Breen work, but he also adds a lot of new, fresh ideas to it.
Like, instead of him being a master hacker, he just is a cybernetic organism that can just hack.
He was ascended by Glip Gloop, the alien god, into becoming an AI.
He was selected,
with his twin
him and
brother.
his brother, yeah.
Yes.
And they were turned into AI.
So I want to get into like first impressions, what each of us were hoping for going into it, and then what we thought of it, just generalistically.
Well, let's first, before that.
Can I just stop? My brain just got stuck on something. So he and his brother got turned into AIs.
Yeah, his brother.
His brother got turned back.
Cybernetic AI cells were printed into them. Yes,
and
cells
they became humanoids. They're no longer humans. They're humanoids.
Oh no! The plot synopsis said that he got turned into an AI, an artificial intelligence. If he's turned into one, is it actually an artificial intelligence?
I don't think Neil Breen thought about it nearly as much as you are right now.
Well, no, I'm like, because he was already there. It's not like you built fucking Skynet.
Who am I? What am I?
So I think technically he would be a cyborg.
Programmable matter. Kuz's biological mutant warfare plans.
Like, he's no longer...
No. His cells were genetically and scientifically modified to make him into a cybernetic humanoid.
His intelligence is not artificial. It has just been modified.
He said DNA and cells.
Right. He didn't say that.
Yes, they modified the DNA in the cells.
So anyway, Kevin, what did you think going into it? What were you expecting out of this Neil Breen film?
So the only thing I knew about Neil Breen was that they were famously bad movies, and they were supposed to be very incoherent. So I was expecting, like, kind of a dumb narrative with cheap, amateur budget, low-quality production. And that's kind of what I was expecting going in.
And what did you get?
I got a lot of stock footage, and
he's done.
There's a lot of stock footage in this movie.
I had higher expectations than what I got.
Like, in terms of quality, or...
Like, the production quality was about what I expected.
Okay.
He had a cheap green screen that he was very, very proud of.
He loved that green screen.
He got a green screen, like,
I think he had a whole green room.
He had a green screen that was his Christmas gift from his mom, and so he just really wanted to show it off.
What a great mom.
Yes.
Mommy Breen.
I was expecting more from, like, the writing. Like, I wasn't expecting a good story, but I was expecting a coherent structure.
Oh, no.
Where like,
no.
You're watching a Neil Breen movie.
Scenes were chronologically out of order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I don't know what's happening and when they're happening.
Yes. Well, and he's a very abstract filmmaker. He's method.
Oh, that's true. But also, he only had, what was it, Nevada State University that he was shooting at? Nevada State College.
Yes.
And so, the good guy headquarters and the bad guy headquarters
are in the same building.
Are the same building, and he enters the same door to get into it.
What a twist.
Is that a twist?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the twisted pair.
Twist. That's the twisted pair.
Is the two organizations.
Genius.
Oh my god, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
He is always trying to go for crap like that, though. Like that is like that's why he repeated all the same shots from the first act in the last act.
Yes.
Because he's always doing stuff where it's like, oh, now it's all different. So you're seeing these shots and now it's the same. Something I was gonna bring up. What was I gonna bring up? Shoot. Frick. It's gone now.
So Alec, what were your expectations?
So my expectations going into it was Neil Breen, he's at an interesting place right now because he blew up and he's still making movies. Where like Tommy Wiseau blew up and he had stopped making movies, and a lot of the people that like made bad movies that like capitalize on it, they're not in this position that Neil Breen's in, where he can become aware of why people watch his movies.
Here's what it is. So Tommy Wiseau puts his heart and soul and money into this movie.
Yes.
And he tries as hard as he can to make it a real movie. He pulls out all the stops, dude. Like he is trying. It looks like a real movie.
He shoots on 35mm and digital.
Because he couldn't decide. Because
he didn't know. Yeah.
And that put him out, and he was like, I'm not gonna. That was really hard and awful, and it's a terrible movie. Like I think to him, I mean he loves it supposedly, but like I think it was so hard that he's like, that's kind of ruining movies for me.
It's like an ugly baby.
But with Neil Breen, he clearly doesn't put the time, soul, money, or effort into it. Like it just looks like a YouTube video.
I think he's literally crazy.
Yeah. I would also buy that.
Socially isolated.
I think he thinks he's gonna one day develop cybernetic and cyber DNA.
I just listening to him narrate throughout the movie, listening to him talk about like just the stuff that he brings up the movie, the AI stuff. I think that's stuff that on a surface level he does find interest in. I just I don't think he's the type of person to really he hears an idea and then he's like, wow, that's cool. He doesn't read about it. He's not gonna go in.
No, he's not gonna research his stuff.
He sees a news headline talking about AI and he thinks, wow, that's really deep and cool. Like this will be so big for humanity. And so I think that's kind of how he does everything. I think he skims everything. Like
he skims headlines. He doesn't even skim articles.
The day with my whole spiel here is Neil Breen is clearly learning every movie he makes. We've kind of seen in different acts of his career, Double Down being one of his first. Oh,
I can't wait to get to this streak.
And Fateful Findings, and then this one is clearly his most ambitious, most produced movie.
It's a weird. What's also interesting is all of his movies have elements of sci-fi in them, but this is a really bizarre, almost 70s. The shit that's in it is 70s stoner sci-fi.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the old Bionic Man.
But
you guys probably never watched. But
my point with his progression though is that at no point has Neil Breen just looked up a YouTube tutorial to do something, because he always completely shits the bed.
This is also true.
I thought Neil Breen would.
Brian's very sleepy. The movie put him to sleep.
Yeah. I was afraid going into it that Neil Breen would reach a point where he's aware of the audience he's accruing.
We're all afraid of that.
And he's now just taking advantage of it. Now he's okay, I'm gonna play it up a little bit. So the whole first half of the movie I was kind of watching and I was like, was this done for comedy? Is he just playing it up? Is he kind of hamming it up a little bit for?
Man, I don't know.
And honestly, after seeing it, it's hard to tell. There's parts of it where I want to say yes, but then there's other parts where you're like, okay, that's almost too incompetent.
My question is, does he do all the producing and all the
Yeah, I think
does he do all
I think
of
it
it?
is all him.
Because I was thinking
the distribution is all him.
Because think about the movie theater said they talked to him directly.
Yeah.
It's not like he
Yeah.
has an agent or anything.
Because I was gonna say, if he had somebody else there, they might be like coaxing him to do more in a way that's like, okay, I know his movies are bad. I can make them even better bad.
Yeah.
Where he goes up and he's like, oh, make this like be more like.
I think it's all Neil Breen. Just thinking about like.
I think Kevin's right. I think Kevin's right in the fact that he's crazy. I think he's just a crazy person.
I think he's just a crazy rich dude who lives by himself, doesn't have any friends,
Yes.
and has some nice daydreams that he tries to turn into movies, and he's so disconnected from reality he doesn't realize what he's done.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That is very sad. But one thing I'll say positive about in his whole career, I hope he never doesn't make a movie where he narrates it, because that's always my favorite part of any Neil Breen movie is his narration. It's always.
It's just buzzwords.
It's just buzzwords. It's also always a scene starts and he just goes, "This scene has no tension. I'm invincible." And then the scene happens and you're like, "Why did he do that? Why did he?" I want to wake up Brian for this one. We got to talk about the theater we saw it in.
Right. I did mention previously that we saw it at the Frida Theater in Santa Ana, California, which is a free-to-play theater.
So should we wake up Brian? Hey Brian.
Brian.
You want to talk about the bad theater? You want to talk about the really bad theater with all the people you hated? Let's talk about those people and then you can go back to sleep.
Okay, so the theater, right. So we'd never been, all four of us had never been there before.
New
Kevin,
theater
you've
going
never
in.
been to this theater.
I've never been to
Brian,
that
me, Alec.
This is a
Kevin.
I'd never
seen
heard of it until this week.
The Frida Kahlo Theater. That's a joke I stole from you
Yes.
earlier.
Yeah.
You guys weren't there for it.
I was chock full of these Frida
I think it is
jokes.
I think it is the Frida Kahlo. There's a painting of her, and
Yeah, I think it's actually supposed to be like dedicated to her.
So anyway, so we're at the Frida Kahlo.
Which makes sense. Everything dedicated to Frida Kahlo can suck my dick.
Oh yeah, Alec # brave tweet hates Frida Kahlo.
she
her.
sucks, dude. Her
She
paintings
does suck. Her paintings suck.
So she's a Neil Breen of artists, dude.
Yes.
She's worse because people love her.
So anyway,
She's like the Ralph the Movie Maker of
they
artists.
kind of look the same too.
They do.
As we're driving up, and I mentioned this like the whole week leading up to us watching a Neil Breen movie in theaters, I was like, it's all going to be the same type of people. It's going to be a bunch of smelly, disgusting, like
Apes.
film snobs who are watching
like
it ironically.
film fans.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even call them film snobs.
Well,
Like,
either way, that type of person.
What Brian's trying to describe is that the Comic-Con going like
the film fans, the ones that
Yeah.
like they're not just I saw the Marvel movies. It's like
hardcore.
it's like I have a Big Trouble in Little China shirt thing. Like,
yeah,
it's-
where the way I put it was every man in that theater today has a podcast.
Yes.
yes.
And so
yeah, those assholes.
as we're pulling up,
Who
we're a
would
bunch of
do that?
fucking losers.
Dumb
Bunch of
So
retards.
idiots.
as we're pulling
Yeah.
up, we see a line at the door,
Kevin.
and they look
Fucking movie podcast, bitch.
Guys don't like my podcast.
And then we go to the theater, and they all have the same personality that you would expect from those people. They were overly loud, annoying.
They all thought they were Red Letter Media.
Yeah, they all
or-
thought they were Red Letter Media, even though they've never made another person laugh
In their lives.
In their lives.
Oh yeah, every
Well,
single
I
call
honestly,
out.
so Brian had been complaining about it, like driving up to the theater, and I was like, I want it to be good. Like I want to enjoy Neil Breen's new film, and then we sit down and the movie starts. We have some trailers. Just it's a free to play theater. So
Now,
they
like,
had some.
There can be people watching this and they're like, "You guys are just like crotchety old men who don't
Yeah.
like the theater
Well,
experience."
they're also
with
going
like
to
a
call.
cult
They're
thing.
going to call us hypocrites because we are also like we are all of those things Brian just described.
But
What are you talking about?
what I'm saying is
I bathe every day.
The thing that
Sorry.
set me off, the thing
It's okay.
that was like, oh no, Brian's right, this is going to be terrible, is
I know what I was
the
gonna say.
screen went black, and then some guy just yelled out "fuck" really loudly, and it was clearly just to get laughs from the theater.
Well, I knew we were fucked because, like, before the trailer started, they were putting up posters for like movies that they were going to be screening.
People were clapping,
And people were clapping at the Neil Breen one, even though we all know why we're in this theater, and it came up like 5 times, and people clapped and cheered
every time.
every time, and people would just laugh at nothing.
The other problem, so with the whole crotchety old men thing, like,
which
the
is
problem
true.
with
Like,
the people talk, like the theater going experience where it's like, oh, a bunch of cult like fans of this thing, like they're talking and they're having fun or whatever. Every person who called out to do a joke to the theater, it was never funny.
There was all like the most unoriginal, like just easy jokes you can imagine.
Also,
or they just point out what they're doing and they yell it out. It's like, he's doing that, and it's like, we know, that's why we're laughing.
The experience was also terrible because like silly crap is happening the whole movie, like in a Neil Breen movie, like silly crap's happening the whole time.
Like
people would go into fucking hysterics.
Yes.
Over
the smallest thing.
Everything, like the smallest thing, like Neil Breen could like make like a little funny face and they would laugh like it was the end of the fucking world. Like they were laughing like they were never gonna laugh again. Like that was it. This is the last one. It was over everything. Like you couldn't even hear anything that was going on because they would not. And like that sounds like a horrible thing. Like, oh my god, I can't believe like you guys are angry that they're laughing. You don't understand.
We laughed
the whole time.
It's just they laughed at everything.
Everything.
I think I laughed like super hard like 3 or 4 times.
There were a handful of times.
There's a handful of times where I was definitely just like that. Classic Neil Breen. That was great.
When Gloop Gloop shows up, every time Gloop Gloop shows up, it's hilarious.
Yes.
And they did
Keegan's favorite.
They did everything you would expect them to. They.
Oh my god, that girl's touching Neil Breen.
Like just things like it's like this is why we're here.
I think I hate it for the same reason I hate like watching people do reviews of The Room. Because they just, like, people, when people do reviews of The Room, or
it's like, why is he having sex with her belly button?
Yeah, they just make the most obvious, like, oh, that is just what's happening on the screen type of joke. Like, it's not funny, it's not intuitive, or not intuitive, I guess. It's not, like, informational at all. It's not like, you know, they're adding any insight into this.
It's not elevating the material.
No.
It's just regurgitating it.
So I guess that's my point, is there's no problem with doing, like Mystery Science Theater's funny, because it's funny.
Mystery Science Theater. That's the thing that everyone doesn't understand about Mystery. Everyone tries to emulate the Mystery Science Theater like style, and what people don't understand is that Mystery Science Theater is fucking scripted. They watch the movie like 8
and they
times,
write jokes.
And they do. So what their process is that people just do the first part of the process. The way Mystery Science Theater does an episode is they'll watch the movie and do basically what we do. We'll watch a movie and we'll be making jokes at the screen. Yeah. And if a joke gets a big laugh, they write it down. And if a joke doesn't get a big laugh, they don't put it in the episode because they're scripted. But people just skip that. They just skip it. They just stay to the first part and they think, oh man, I'm just like Mystery Science Theater.
They don't do the quality control.
And they don't do any of the quality control. And everyone thinks that they're the main character in Mystery Science Theater.
Or even a Red Letter Media episode of Best of the Worst. Like, you don't watch the whole movie with them. They give you the best edited snippets of it. Like the funniest.
The ones where Rich Evans laughs the loudest or whatever. Like,
yes.
Or embarrasses himself horribly.
Yes,
but bad theater. That like.
So yeah, that's a big takeaway from this review. I think the most negative part of the movie was just seeing it in that shitty theater.
Well, the way Sam Slade said, he said it would be different if we'd seen it before because you would know everything that happens in the movie.
It's like
that's like
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Or like screenings of The Room where it's like there's like a ritual to it and it's not fun if it's the first time you've seen it.
Most of the people there have all like they've never seen it. Like,
also, like
Twisted Pair came out how long ago?
Well, it
came out in October.
Oh, and also the issue is like one of the best parts of like The Room and Troll 2 and any movie like that is when you're watching the movie and someone says something that's completely ridiculous or nonsensical. We heard maybe 10% of the dialogue because people were just laughing hysterically over every little visual thing, so we didn't hear any of that. They probably said a lot of gold in this movie we just didn't get.
Yeah,
there was a lot of gold in there, dude.
There was gold in there, but I'm saying we probably missed a lot of it because we couldn't hear the fucking movie because everyone was laughing and talking.
Like the scene where he's gonna rape his girlfriend who might be his sister.
Who wasn't his girlfriend before that scene?
Who wasn't his girlfriend before that scene?
Dude, they did that as a goof.
It was a rape play thing.
Yeah, dude, it was a rape play thing. Dude.
But then like at the end of the scene, he's like, "Oh, so what's mom making for dinner?" or something like that. Like we couldn't hear the dialogue, but it sounded like he asked what mom was making for dinner. I'm like, "Is this his sister?"
I think maybe he's calling her mom, like
he's like your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we couldn't hear the dialogue, so we couldn't know.
But
listen, Kevin, I can't have them be brother and sister. Like, they have to be just married. Like, I don't want to add that to the movie. I can't think about that right now.
I agree with you. They were not brother and sister.
If they are brother and sister, incest loses at the end because he shoots her dead.
You know what's funny is I think this movie actually has a pretty similar plot to what Captain Marvel's gonna be, because it's about an alien savior who used to be a human who got modified by an alien who's now back on Earth and fights an alien to save humanity from aliens.
Wait, what? Neil Breen was fighting an alien?
Yeah, that's what Gazor.
No, he was fighting.
No.
He's fighting what Neil Breen is always fighting, dude. He's fighting the major corporations who are corrupt. Idiot. They're always that.
No, that alien.
I know. I'm talking to Alec.
No,
have you ever seen a Neil Breen movie?
That alien that he talks to with the deep voice, that's an alien.
No, that's just an evil man.
No, that's an alien.
No,
that's why he has a fairy. It's an alien.
No,
he was an evil dude using his biochem skills.
Yes, idiot. It's like he didn't pay attention at all.
There's a plot in this movie?
I didn't like that movie.
You're gonna sleep on my lap, you dude?
Can we turn the light off? Like, will that affect the
That
video?
would affect the video, yeah.
Alright, I can...
So Sam Slays, you obviously paid the most attention.
Did I?
What happened in this movie? I
Go
thought
into detail.
I thought that deep voice guy was supposed to be an alien. That's why he teleports into his magic paintings.
No, you are assuming too much of Neil Breen.
So why did he have magic paintings? Why did he have a fairy?
Hold on.
Why was there a fairy?
So to dive into
the largest cyber and terror attack in the world.
If you are planning the largest cyber and terror attack in the world, you have a fairy because you have cybernetic powers.
The fairy was a hologram.
Yes.
What?
Yes, that's
He
why
was
she had the
so
crucial
corrupt.
diamond at the end.
Yeah.
No, she was not.
Yes,
hologram.
she was made of diamonds, idiot.
No.
Yes.
That's why the diamonds were in the
You guys
shoes
are
at the end.
lying.
Okay, so to really get into the plot, though, you have to know like the overarching theme of this movie is the twisted pair.
Yes.
So Neil Breen, the hero, and Neil Breen, the anti.
We haven't even gotten to the fact that Neil Breen.
So Neil Breen plays two characters.
He plays
Honestly,
the
Neil Breen
bottom.
gives, and this might be shocking you, his best performance he's ever given. This is the best he's ever done in the movie.
He did.
He got sunburned for Double Down, dude.
Like, he's terrible. He's so bad in this movie. That is the best performance he's ever done. Because he wasn't a complete, like, there were points where he wasn't completely blank in the face. Because usually in every movie, even in an emotional scene, he's, why are you doing this? You bitch, you cheated on me. Like, that's always him.
So that's one thing I liked in the movie.
Sometimes he raised his voice and his face changed.
One thing I liked in the movie was that he was supposed to be an AI or a cyborg, whatever. And you could really tell it because he was just a machine like the entire movie.
Yeah, that was an acting choice.
Was that Neil Breen writing to his
He also
strengths?
bought himself some eye drops, but for the end of the movie, so he dropped some water in his eyes. So
I thought it
he
was not
died.
eye drops. That was just he put his head under a faucet.
So Neil Breen, he's been, as a kid, he and his twin brother were abducted by an alien who is...
They were chosen.
They were chosen by the Force.
They were not abducted. He was chosen by the Force. I'm not kidding. It's called the Force.
And
he refers to it as the Force.
The Force gave him AI powers.
He says the Force and the bad Force, so that he doesn't say the dark side.
And so he's on the streets of a random city, presumably the one he lives in, because that you see this street later in the movie and it's still the same city. And he just flies up across the street to a building, and there's just a war going on inside this building.
He has stock footage of soldiers running around a
building.
building.
He has stock footage of these soldiers running around.
That he CGs himself onto.
And he green screens. There's a lot of green screen in this movie. It's the most green screen I think I've ever seen in a Neil Breen film.
I don't think you see Neil Breen on a real set for the first 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
I would agree with that.
Something like that.
Then, after Neil Breen basically says he's a superhero, he saves people, and then he goes to a board meeting. He goes to an office building.
They let Neil Breen know.
Well, which is the library of Nevada State College.
He first goes to an office building and throws his guns super flimsy.
Well, he talks what's James Bond's boss? M? James Bond's boss? M?
Yeah, M.
Yeah. He talks to his M.
Wait.
He's a cyborg James Bond.
Clarify this for me. At the end, was she a bad guy?
No, she was a good guy.
Who? His M?
Yeah.
M was a good guy.
Yeah. Remember at the end when she was like, "I love him."
I'm so glad he's on our
he's
side.
on our
He's going to
side.
change the world for the better.
He stopped that cyber and terror attack.
Okay.
I understood why you got confused.
I thought she was talking about, because she was going on all like, oh, she's one of them, and I thought she was like implying that she was also one of them. I don't fucking know.
He was saying
that's his wife.
No, remember, because when he kills his wife, she's like, I feel bad for him because he killed his wife.
Right, yeah.
Remember that?
Spoilers, he kills his wife.
So then Neil Breen, after throwing his guns and going to a board meeting...
Throwing his guns at the mic.
Yeah, right at the microphone. He meets a random girl, a presumably random girl on the street next to a homeless man. And you find, I guess he's kind of trying to do an Incredibles thing where they have, like, playful banter. And
they don't know each other.
Yeah, like
well, I guess because they're outside of work and maybe they're not allowed to know that they know each other.
So he has this really bizarre scene where he walks up to his girlfriend right in front of this homeless man.
Yeah, witnessed by a homeless man.
This is, as far as you know, this is a random girl.
This is this scene is very odd because this is how it's presented to you. It's this random girl walks up to Neil Breen, and he starts hitting on her or whatever. He knocks over her
very
books.
aggressively. He's like, "Let's get a drink." No, let's get. And she's like, "Get away from me, you creep!" And he's like, "No, let's get a."
I'll take you out to dinner.
Leave me alone. I have a boyfriend.
Let's have
Get out of my
Let's
face.
have a
Leave
drink.
me
Let's
alone.
have a drink.
Leave me alone.
Let's have
I
a
have
drink.
a boyfriend.
I'll meet
Get
you
out of my
back here at
face.
8 o'clock.
And so I thought at first, like, oh, this is Neil Breen. He's gonna say that like that's the evil clone or something. Like it's gonna be the evil one.
Well, I thought it was gonna be the evil one later on. I thought he was just pathetic, sad, and didn't have any social interactions.
Neil Breen would. Here's the thing about Neil Breen. His main characters are always perfect.
Yeah, no, they're always perfect.
I picked up on that.
Yeah, Neil Breen will never write himself.
This wasn't
a bad
even
character.
like. Here's the thing. The only thing that I would say is slightly disappointing about this movie is that Neil Breen is not nearly as perfect as he could be.
Yeah, no.
This is the least perfect human he's played.
We were talking about
all the movies
a man who normally writes characters for himself that just casually cure cancer.
Like he's just like, I cured her cancer. I'm great. And like he has more scenes where he talks himself up. This has it's light on the scenes that talk himself up.
It's true. Like, he only has a little bit at the beginning and then occasionally later on.
Yeah, and occasionally later on he says I'm invincible and things like that.
Well, that was only the fight scene.
Yeah.
The Hound off scene.
Yeah, things like that.
He's like, be back here at 8 o'clock and we'll go on a date. And then there's just a cut. They're in the same location. And he walks back to the homeless man. And he's like, oh man, it's 8 and she didn't come.
He also gives the homeless man money, but he just throws it at him and it just falls on the floor.
So then he sees this girl walking to her home, which I guess is down the street from this college.
Which is also the headquarters for a secret government agency.
Two of them, one evil and one good.
Yeah, one evil and one good.
And so Neil,
both making cybernetic humanoid
Neil Breen
cells.
follows this.
Only one less.
Well, they both had the same laboratory.
You only saw the laboratory of the evil one.
Yeah, you only saw the evil laboratory, dude.
Oh, he went to two different ones with the same laboratory.
No, he went to the evil base.
He went to the evil base,
but he blew it up twice.
No, he blew up the factory.
But he walked through that room before.
He went through there twice.
He walked through it the first time he went to go find the bad guy, and the bad guy was a hologram, so he left to go blow up the factory. And then he came back to blow up the evil headquarters.
Wait, is that what that was? They were holograms?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to finish this scene where he rapes a girl. Neil Breen, he follows this girl to her home and breaks in. This is the scene, by the way. Like, I'm not, like, there's no context given to this at all.
Yeah, he breaks in.
And then, like, there's a
creepy, the audience
creepy shot of, like, his shadow coming over, like, she's in the kitchen, like...
She screams because there's a man in her
And then
Neil
Breen then fights her. Like, he's
like, you are mine now. You should have gone on a date with me. You're mine.
And he's trying to pin her.
And it goes on for, like, a minute. It's a really long time.
And he's definitely trying to get her, like,
she even breaks... She breaks a picture over his head.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yes.
She breaks a picture over his head, and he's like, "You can't resist me."
And then the end of the scene, because Sam Slade and I were looking at each other because we were like, Neil Breen is going to make this somehow turn out to be that he's a good guy.
I know how this ends in every Neil. Like, he has to be perfect in everything. He can't have a flaw. So how is he going to twist this to where he's a hero?
Yeah. And the way is that they're already in a relationship, I guess,
and they're just playing around.
The whole scene was just kind of like an Incredibles thing.
Yeah, like they're doing like a bit with each other,
playful banter,
or it's a sex thing, and like they have like rape fantasies or something, but they don't really go in. It's very odd. What the movie is trying to go for, what Neil Breen's trying to tell the world is, there's two ways of going about things. You know, there's the evil twin brother way. He's still doing good. But he's kidnapping bad guys illegally.
That's something we haven't talked about, is that Neil Breen's brother, evil Neil Breen, throughout the movie,
evil Neil Breen
has kidnapped 3 like
3 to 25. Because
Yeah,
sometimes it
it's-
multiplies. They are my favorite
Big
characters
business
in the movie.
people?
I was laughing so hard because so he kidnaps these 3 guys, and you're like, what the heck?
Including a man with the
And-
most amazing mustache.
Yeah,
that's
he has
ever
a taped
onto
on
a
mustache,
human
and he's holding a gun up to him, and he's like, "You guys are gonna rot here because you're evil and you do bad things." And immediately after that, they all start confessing to a bunch of horrible crap they've done. Like everything, they've done literally everything that a major like evil corporation could
We've
have
done human trafficking.
And they're all like,
Right,
"Oh, Neil
politicians.
Breen got us finally because we've been human trafficking and embezzling
And selling-
money,
selling military
selling military secrets, selling drugs." And he just for like 5 minutes names everything they've done. It's all one take too.
Yeah. I am surprised they didn't mention like jaywalking or like cutting workers' hours or something
Well,
like
if they
that.
had done that, that would be comedy territory. Like that, if they had done jaywalking or something
Yeah.
like trivial like that, that would be.
They
okay.
named all the things that Neil Breen hates and wants
Yes.
to end in the world.
Neil Breen hates all of those things.
And it was just ridiculous. Like, he was out of breath the whole time. And he was just going, he's like, and this that we did, and the embezzlement, and all the people that we murdered because of our embezzlement.
Oh, and I forgot they also murdered people. These attorneys were going out
Yes.
and murdering people.
Remember when he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna hurt you," and then he shoots one in the
No,
shoulder.
he says, "I'm not going to kill you," and then he
Oh,
shoots one in
yeah.
the shoulder, and then later on he says, "Don't worry, I'm going to kill you."
He shoots him in the balls.
Yeah, and so then we just get scenes of him coming back to them throughout the movie, and he just shoots them.
It's
in
funny
random
because
spots.
like it always seems to come when you forget that that's something that's happening.
They
in
also
the movie.
address how many days they've been there. They're always like, "We've been here for 2 days." Blam!
That's the only
You're
way that
dead.
see that I can give him points for that because I actually know what the timeline for this is.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
entire rest of the movie, like the chronology, like just
You can't
loops
give him
in on
props
itself.
though because he just has his character say randomly.
Way.
No,
how long
no,
it's
I can
been.
give him props for that because I could understand what was happening. There was a series of scenes that were happening
So
in
yeah,
sequential order.
so the good twin, he's clearly trying to destroy all the major and evil corporations that have like cybernetic and terrorist.
They
attacks.
really are the
planning
two halves of
largest
Neil
cyber
Breen.
and terror attack.
Yeah, and he's destroying them with his cybernetic cells and powers. With good, like he's legally allowed to blow up their buildings.
with the cyber powers.
But his brother
It's like
is just
Deus Ex.
kidnapping
Corrupt politicians,
and
stuff.
I think, and there's a scene where he talks to him and he says, "I wish I had your power." And this is a very powerful scene, by the way. And he says, "I wish that it's their shot reverse shot, except it's just
Except
shot,
it's not a shot.
and then
reverse shot.
another shot of him with the same background because
That
it's a
was-
green screen
that
and
was
it's
my
just facing
favorite.
the camera." Shot reverse shot, classic shot reverse. He didn't look up a YouTube tutorial. Again,
No.
I just think Neil Breen needs to look up one
Just
YouTube
one.
tutorial per movie, just one, so that he knows how to light a scene or something. You know.
Well, that's something I want to get into is the upgraded cinematography and overall aesthetic.
But
God, I
that
know
scene
what's
the
happening.
most powerful scene in the movie though. He's like, "I wish I had your powers. If only I had your powers, I wouldn't have to resort to kidnapping these people." And then for whatever reason, Neil Breen's just like, "You could have." And in the beginning, he said that his brother just disappeared one day.
Yeah.
No, the Gloop Gloop wasn't happy because his brother kept failing missions and took the power back.
Oh shoot.
So Neil Breen's films
So I was trying to
always
figure out
look
what's happening.
terrible.
Yes.
That's a common theme with all of them. And this film also looks terrible. There's no difference, except there is. The whole film seemingly was shot on a college campus. I would wager I'm gonna even go out and guess that even
That the green screen was at the college campus? I bet.
I would put money on it.
I
So,
think he used their green screen.
I don't know if Neil Breen knows someone at. Well, my working theory is that Neil Breen had an assistant cinematographer and / editor on this film. It was both. It
Yes.
was the same person.
Same dude.
I'm going to guess. I could be wrong here.
This is someone he knows or is related to that's going to college.
that is a student at that college
Yes.
that reached out to Neil Breen and said, "I want to work with you," and I have no evidence of this other than I
think Neil Breen knows this guy previously in his now.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
Well,
why I
like,
bet.
I think Neil Breen does owns
I
apartments
just
or
don't
something.
think I don't believe in a world where this con man, college student that goes to this college is able to call Neil Breen and actually convince him to make a movie with him.
I mean, if he's offering location, dude.
Neil Breen can get locations.
That's true.
Like he can do it. I'm just and you know.
Now something that really it started off as like a funny it's interesting that's cool that or not cool but it's funny that the movie's doing that. By the end of the movie, this actually annoyed me, and it was that almost every single shot that could do it had the exact same lighting setup where most of the shot would be completely in shadow, and then there would be one bar of light.
And then whoever your subject was, they would walk into the light by the end of the shot.
And it became frustrating throughout the movie because it would be like, oh, there's that same light bar.
You kept bringing it up. You kept being like,
it's
why
like
is
half
that
the shots?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's literally about half the shots.
Almost anything where there's not a green screen has that light bar.
This movie's After Effects like light shadow thing from Double Down, because Double Down has this thing where it just after, like in post, you just put a ray of light over a lot of shots, like just a random one that's just in the middle of the screen.
But this isn't even in post, dude. Like this is
legit.
And here's where I will give it props. The first couple times I saw it, I thought it was a cool light. Like if you did that in one or two shots,
in a Cypress College film, you know. It's like, oh yeah, like a student film. There you go. Like,
or even if it was just like if it was used in one shot, it would have been cool. Or if it was used in maybe even two shots, but they're spread out, it would have been cool. But like, it's clear that whoever did that just figured out how to do it and thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I'm gonna ask you a question on this.
Okay.
Do you think that the cinematographer, did that and thought it was the coolest thing ever, and so did it for every single night shot?
I think Neil Breen thought it was the coolest thing ever and made him do it for every single shot.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I think he saw it once and was like, oh, we can do that every time.
Yeah, no, Neil Breen saw it and thought that was the most amazing thing ever. Or alternate theory, Neil Breen said he wanted noir-like light streaks, and so the cinematographer was like, okay, I don't know how to do that, and so he just had that one bar.
I think it was Neil Breen.
Kevin loves beans.
I do love beans. I'm a real human being.
Yeah, and a real hero.
Yes. I think Neil Breen saw that the first time, or heard the student describe it, and like the student showed him like a previous work where it showed him, and was like, that's awesome. I want to see that on every single time we have night. Because I think it will be cool, because it's cool in the scene. So if I have a lot of it, it will be cool every time.
Yes.
Yes. I would that's safe to assume.
Yeah, I would also say that's...
I'm throwing it on the Breen.
The movie also just throws out random gas-masked ninjas with assault rifles that never do anything.
He blows up the building that they're in, but I don't know if he killed them.
So the wife ends up being on the bad guy's side.
There's a big twist in the third act. So the climax happens.
My question is,
who did they betray?
Did evil Neil Breen cause her to go to the bad side?
No.
No.
But remember, we had that shot of him behind her shoulder. And that was never paid off.
But
oh
Neil
my
Breen
gosh,
is
you're
on the
right.
bad side.
No, evil Neil Breen.
Evil Neil Breen's still good. He's just a bad good.
That's what we think.
No, that's true. I think Kevin's right. Like that, because Neil Breen, like bad Neil Breen, was still a good guy.
Bad Neil Breen. That is possibly the biggest twist of this movie. Is I thought evil Neil Breen would be the villain, but evil Neil Breen is actually not. I mean, he kills people for. You know, the same reason that Neil Breen always kills people in his movie.
Remember when the bad guy, the actor, changed for one scene?
Yes.
Yes. For the hologram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, did Neil Breen just think he would get away with that, or
well he was reusing the one actor.
See, that's why I thought he was an alien, because I thought he was just like that was his human form.
So he went to that guy's house who played the bad guy, shot all of his stuff because
he couldn't get
because
him
all of
again.
his scenes were at that house.
Yes.
Couldn't get him again to go to the Cypress College thing. He couldn't bring
Cypress College.
Yeah, Nevada Cypress College.
It probably was the Cypress College of Nevada.
That was a wonderful experience. I think it's out of the 3 Neil Breen movies I've seen now, I think it's my least favorite. I think Double Down's just magical. There's like moments where I'm just like,
Double Down is just
this is a more entry-level Neil Breen movie than Double Down.
I would agree with that.
If you start with Double Down, you will probably not get Neil Breen.
Double Down. I mean, Double Down is.
Double Down sounds like
it's challenging.
Double Down is like Kevin. Imagine all of the crazy, nonsensical bullshit in this movie.
That's out of order and you
dialed
don't know what's happening.
to 20 out of 10.
Now take all the stock footage that's in this movie. Make it 80% of the movie. I'm not kidding. 80% of that movie is stock footage. It's either him in a desert or it's stock footage.
Remember when Neil Breen convinces a girl that she wants to marry him and then he dumps her?
In Double Down, yes.
Yes. So Sam Slade, here's something interesting. Double Down was filmed 13 years ago. Does Neil Breen look any different between those 13 years? That's good.
I'm not kidding, not at all.
So here's something interesting about these bad...
He might actually be a cybernetic
these
organism that is here to make
this might
movies.
be
So Tommy Wiseau, I think he has not changed much, but I definitely
He's
can
aged.
tell
He's
that he is
definitely
13
aged.
years older,
Yes.
or, you know, 18 years old, or whatever, how long it's been since The Room came out.
Yeah, 2001.
Neil Breen
Dude,
is a
2009.
cyborg.
Yeah, no, he looks the same. Favorite Findings still is reigning champion. Less, I think, the least amount of stock footage.
Yeah.
There might not be any. I can't think of any.
Favorite
stock
Findings is I think it might actually be the best first Neil Breen movie, just because it's the perfect mixture of like it's not as fucked as Double Down is.
The plot is way more cohesive.
What was the scene where he was talking, when evil Neil Breen was talking with his drug girlfriend, and they kept repeating the line?
He's like, why? There's a really weird edit in the movie. That's the one Kevin's talking about. Because it's not just like when Neil Breen in Fateful Findings repeats, "I cannot believe you just committed suicide," or "I cannot believe you just killed yourself." It is just a long shot of him saying, "I cannot believe you committed suicide," over and over again. There's a really weird edit towards the end of the movie where Neil Breen just repeats a cut like 3 times.
Yeah, like it's a YouTube.
Yeah, it's really jarring. It
goes, why? And then he cuts back 2 seconds. Why? Cuts back 2 seconds again.
Going back to the just avant-garde style of filmmaking and editing that Neil Breen distributes.
There is a deep... So with that theme, there's also a segment in the movie, very genius. Genius
very
part of the
genius.
movie.
I would agree.
There's... It parallels where you see good Neil Breen and he's at, having dinner with his wife.
Right.
They're
yes.
having a nice chat. And then it cuts to bad Neil Breen also having dinner with his wife, but the dinner is crack.
Yes. And when he throws his girlfriend off the bed.
And then they
got
juxtapose with Neil Breen having a nice time and like gonna get laid with his wife.
Yeah.
And then bad Neil Breen fighting with his wife.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not getting laid.
When he finds out his wife's betrayed him, and there's the black drug dealer, or whatever the guy was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then he takes him and throws him down and says, "You betrayed us.
You betrayed us." So that scene.
You betrayed me. You betrayed us.
That scene is closer to what the I cannot believe you committed suicide
That
scene.
is like, so from a writing standpoint, that is a really, like, that could have been a good moment. So let's paint this picture different. A better actor, a better movie, a character that he's talking to that actually is a character that he knows,
we've seen before,
and that we've seen before.
I don't think he was in any scene previously in the movie.
Where a character who his job is like this government thing, he's fighting terrorists.
Yeah.
And he's like, as my job, it's like, you've betrayed us, and then he gets emotional. He's like, no, you betrayed me. That could be a good scene.
he takes his job
guy.
as like a cybernetic secret agent. He takes his job so personally, the organization is him. If you betray that,
it starts out where he's just like, as a person who works for this organization, you've betrayed us. Like, I am pissed off. I'm gonna kill you. And then it turns into, no, I'm hurt because you betrayed me. Like, I'm a part of this, and you betrayed me.
The other thing was,
but it's so bad, and you don't know who this character is at all. Like, you've never seen him before.
Yes.
And he just is yelling at this random dude. It's so bad.
The other thing I liked was a lot of CG of him onto the stock footage, particularly when he's on the airplane.
Oh yeah,
And
that was great.
The sexy stewardess comes up,
And you're like, this is just stock footage.
That woman doesn't know Neil Breen's there. All the effects are great. Like, people are going to talk about the effects. Like, we don't even need to cover, because that's what everyone's going to talk about.
I will.
Those explosions are great. Again, he's got to look up one YouTube tutorial per movie. That's your homework, Neil Breen. Okay? I'm getting frustrated with you because the YouTube will tell you.
Seriously, we gotta meet him on December 6th and just lay it in.
Brian,
there.
well, he might not be coming.
Wait, was that what that noise was?
Yes. I heard it coming from his butt, dude.
He's sleeping.
I know, dude.
Is he... Brian, did you actually just sleep fart? Oh yeah, when Neil Breen shoots his wife, that's a funny scene because he gets shot in the same scene and it just doesn't affect him because he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's sad about having to shoot his wife, but after that scene I was like, why didn't he just let her shoot him? And it would have been this emotional thing where it's like, I don't even care that you shot me, our love is
Also,
deeper
we
than...
know he's invincible.
Yes.
Like, he gets shot in that scene.
Remember how he
fine.
just slowly turns around and points the gun at her?
Well, what's he gonna do? Shoot him? It's
And
not
like,
gonna do
does she
anything.
not know that he's invincible? Like, does she not know that he's a superhero?
No, remember he never tells her his work. So,
That's true.
And that's it's
she
just
works
set
for
up
the
because
bad
that's why
guy.
she's always asking about his work.
But she's a bad guy. She's supposed to be spying on him so that she knows he's important.
Oh, and that's how they meet because they work in the same parking lot. Like,
He
they work
also
in the same
isn't
building.
secretive about it. He tells everyone he meets that he like he goes around when he's saving people. He just says, "I'm invincible. I'm a cybernetic being.
Stay behind me.
Stay
I'm
behind me. I'm
invincible."
invincible."
Oh, so one thing I thought. So by the way, I thought this movie was gonna be a lot more clever than it was, but basically, I kept going.
I can't believe
what-
you thought that.
No. Like
I cannot believe
I
you
had
thought
low
that.
standards. I had low standards, but it went beneath them.
Okay.
Yes, that is appropriate for this.
Yes,
For a
but
new
like,
movie.
so I kept seeing scenes. I'm like, this is something dumb that could happen in a movie and make some sense. And then I kept going, no, he's not going to do that. That's too smart for him.
Well, that's my
Um,
whole thing with Double Down is that Double Down has things where I'm like, oh, that could be in a real movie, but it's in a Neil Breen movie and it's terrible.
But like, so when he's having the fireside wine with his wife, and he started reaching out for her face because she was like staring blankly, like she doesn't know that the camera's on, and she's waiting for someone to tell her. I thought he was going to realize, oh my gosh, she's a hologram. She's been kidnapped by the bad guy, and I had to rescue her because I'm Neil Breen.
Yeah, Double Down was
Twisted
amazing.
Pair, go see it if you can. It is magical. If you haven't, you should watch.
If you like Neil Breen, or you want to watch something like confusing, it's like a mental puzzle, but the pieces aren't going to fit together.
I would recommend not seeing it in a theater, seeing it in alone
Especially
with a group of
if it's new
friends.
to you.
See,
Maybe
I
have a
want to-
few beers. I'd love.
Yes,
Here's
yes.
what I will say about this movie. I'd love to watch, not necessarily this movie. I'd love to watch a Neil Breen movie with Cody and like a beer
That'd
in my
be great.
hand.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How awesome does that sound?
I wanted.
Let's
a
do
couple
that
things
instead
when I
of
was watching.
celebrating our girlfriend's birthday this weekend. Let's just do that.
I need to ask you guys a present thing.
Let's just cancel whatever we're doing on
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'm saying we should just do that
and
instead.
watch. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. Yeah, no, it's a solid. I mean, just like Fateful Findings and Double Down, I think it's a solid bad movie offering.
To
If you're
pitch
looking-
Neil Breen to you, so he's like if David Lynch hit himself in the head with a hammer until he became Tommy Wiseau.